When Rachel asked me to come read something at this, she said, it should probably be funny or dirty. Which is probably correct, and I have never written either of those things. So I said, shit, and I looked through my Tumblr for about 4 years worth of posts and finally found something that I thought might work for this, so here goes something. This is real, by the way. I stepped into a bagel shop on Mission Street this morning for breakfast. Inside, it was sunrise quiet, with cups and napkins stacked neatly along the counter and several people standing around waiting for their number to be called. I was ordering an egg and cheese sandwich on a jalapeno bagel when someone with something clubbed me from behind violently. Surprised, I turned around to find a man with sunburnt eyes and eyes like a rabid squirrel. He was holding a Mickey Mouse statue of some kind, at least a meter long, bent up and back in the air, ready to swing again. I couldn't even move in the face of this. But instead of hitting me, this time he attacked a pile of bananas next to the cash register, sending them flying across the counter. The owner didn't like that at all. No, hitting customers is one thing apparently, but leave his bananas from Ecuador alone. You'd pay for those bananas, he said. And so this painfully insane man with the Disney statue began to throw change everywhere. He threw coins at the cash register, at the espresso machine, at the bagel bins, and everywhere else he could think of while his money supply lasted. When the barrage had ended and a brief calm returned, the owner let out a yip like I've never heard in my life. The insane man was crouched to the ground nibbling on one of those prized bananas. What followed I could never foresee in 1,000 lifetimes. 80 cents for that banana, the owner said. I just gave you 80 cents, the man said and went on nibbling. A strangely good point, I thought. Then this large man in an ill-fitting suit decided to crash the party too. Hey buddy, he said, you only threw around 50 cents at best. What the fuck is wrong with every one of these people, I thought to myself. No, 80, said the man with Mickey Mouse in his hands and banana chunks in his mustache. Inexplicably, he then went up toward the counter and attempted to take a $1 bill from the hands of Mr. 50 cents at best. Not the smartest move. Soon he was against the wall, being held up off the floor by a large man who was laughing and enjoying himself way too much. The owner again demanded that the insane man leave, and not surprisingly, this time he agreed. Mr. 50 cents at best hesitantly let go of his neck, and the man scuttled out the door, happy to be free of the unwinnable situation he'd set in motion when he clubbed me for no reason. That's what you'd expect. But actually, in fact, before running out into the street at full speed, he first grabbed an iced latte from another patron and slammed it against the wall, kicked Mickey Mouse like a football at the ATM machine, and then obliterated the cup and napkin stacks lining the counter with his crazy spaghetti-like arms. The place looked damaged, like from a summer storm. There was coffee dripping off the ceiling, and paper products everywhere. As I picked up bits of wreckage for no other reason than I needed to do something, I could hear Mr. 50 cents at best talking at the rest of us and at no one in particular. Did you see me back him up against the wall? Did you see me pick him up with one hand? I could have killed him, you know. I could have killed that little twerp. At that point, I'd been awake for only 25 minutes. But I already had no faith in the day anymore, and soon after, I excused myself from the world and returned to bed. Thank you. And then also, so, like I told you, I had nothing dirty. I had nothing funny, except for that. But I really... I do write, and I do art, like Rachel said. I wanted to actually just hear this poem. I wanted to hear it read out loud on loudspeakers, because when do you get a chance like that? When does anybody ever ask you to read a poem in 2012? Okay, I will. Fine. Okay. So I don't expect you to get anything out of this. I started writing this collection of poetry called Love Letters to St. Francis when I first moved here about 4 years ago. And then more recently, when I wrote this one I'm going to read, I realized that Love Letters to St. Francis is over because this poem is pretty much about escape and wanting to get away. So I also think it just sounds nice. So. Flowers fill a wall 3 stories tall near the river, by the Parc du Champ de Mars. I am there, eyes wide, mouth sharp. In another year, long from now, far, far from here. And old Paris seems so complete, so completely covered in concrete and meaning. I'm only bone tired, ready to be swallowed up again by the din of Europe's evening. Reborn as a Basque tour guide or a pigeon on a park bench facing the seaside, never leaving. My Mediterranean mothers and the gentle nudging of Italian weather. Impressed by men less than humbled by the overwhelming obesity of time, who go on, set apart from location, from station to station, and fashion some sort of home. In love, like long rambling walks with no destination. Teach me that language. Run out my weakness on the roads of history, stretched out to infinity and still arriving. The thriving marriage of humanity and patience, Paris, I'm there, unthinking. Until a sober cathedral bell shakes me, reclaims me from a dumbstruck stupor. Here are the paved sand dunes in my poor California, America's bold boutique future. Here are 4 hard years of my tracks from hill to bay and back, from that Parisian wall of plants. And these nights lit like fires in the center of stars, die out entirely. Mourning and ruin running. 2 tickets to Istanbul, then the Serbian countryside, and then nothing. And finally, that life can still be like this. Thank you.